You've heard of the unsinkable Molly Brown, but what about Miss Unsinkable Violet Jessup, who beat all the odds and survived Titanic, Olympic, and Brittanic? She was born in Argentina to Irish immigrants, and she spent a lot of her childhood caring for her 5 younger siblings. And when she was still a child herself, she contracted tuberculosis and was given months to live. But as she continued to do throughout her life, she beat the odds and survived. Her father died when she was 16 or 17, so the family moved back to Britain. Her mom got a job as a stewardess on the Royal Mail Line, and Violet went to a convent school. Then her mom got really sick, so she left school and applied to be a stewardess herself. She almost didn't get hired because she was told she was too young and beautiful. In 1911, she started working on the Olympic, which was one of Titanic's sister ships. She was on board when the Olympic collided with HMS Hawke, a British warship. There were no fatalities in the crash, and everybody made it back to port safely. About a year later, she transferred to Titanic. Her friends and family kept saying it'll be a wonderful experience, and it gets a little spooky here. In her memoirs, she said that on Titanic, she had brought a translation of a Hebrew prayer that an old Irish woman had given her. She said it was a strangely worded prayer that was supposed to protect her from fire and water. So they hit the iceberg and everybody's ordered to come up on deck. One of the ship's officers had her get into a lifeboat to show some other women that it was safe, and then said, "Here, Miss Jessup, look after this baby," and just dropped a baby in her lap. And don't worry, the mother found her baby when they got on Carpathia. And then, during World War I, she worked for the Red Cross on board the Brittanic, another sister ship of Titanic that had been converted into a hospital ship. The ship detonated a naval mine and sank into the Aegean Sea. She jumped out of her lifeboat because she was about to be hit by the ship's propellers, and the keel of the ship hit her in the head. And yet she lived on. I would be scared off at this point, but she went back to work for the White Star Line, then the Red Star Line, then back to the Royal Mail Line. Luckily, she was able to avoid any more ship disasters and retired at the age of 61. She died at the age of 83 from congestive heart failure, and she's buried at Hardis Cemetery in Suffolk.